Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Eldercare's weekly webinar series. I am Adrienne Ostris. I'm the Digital Marketing Director here at Eldercare, and I am really excited about today's topic, and I would love to just start and introduce everyone, but I have a few housekeeping things that I want to talk to all of you about first. One is that this will be our last GoToWebinar starting next week. We will be using Zoom webinar. So we're very excited about that because we will be able to go live in our private Facebook group again starting next week. So you will have to register for each topic. We are not going to do a series where you register once and you get the same link. You are going to have to register for each topic that you're interested in. So I put the link in the chat so you can see all of our topics that are upcoming, and that way you can register ahead of time and get it added to your calendar. I also put in the chat a link to register for our conference. Eldercare has officially opened registration for agents to attend our conference. So it will be September 16th and 17th. It's 2 full days of training to get you fueled up for AEP. So we are super excited. It's going to be here in our home state, Arkansas. It's going to be at Oaklawn Racing Gaming Casino in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So if you're interested in meeting us and attending our conference, the link is in the chat as well. If you will let me know that you do see those links, I'm hoping I put them in the right place and shared them with everyone. But if you'll let me know, good morning, that you can hear me, you can see our screen, we will get this started. I see a lot of you still joining. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited about today's topic because the industry is changing. We know that things are happening, and we know that Medicare supplements are going to be a little bit more enticing for Medicare beneficiaries. And so I'm super excited to have Kevin Moore and Suzanne with Aetna Senior Supplemental join us this morning to talk to us about specifically Plan N for Medicare supplements. Good morning, Kevin and Suzanne.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. We know that we've actually had this training before. It's been a few years. And it was an amazing training. We had a lot of great feedback from that training. And so I am really excited to have you back on because we have a lot of new agents that are new to selling Medicare on this training. And so I am very excited for you to just pour into them and show them how to position this and be successful selling this.
Me too. Me too. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
No pressure, Kevin.
No pressure here. I'm all good.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and hold the questions to the end because we do try to keep this kind of, to the point so we're not wasting agents' times. But agents, find that question box. Let me know any questions that you have about selling Medicare supplements in general, selling Plan N in general, Aetna in general, any questions you might have, even about Eldercare and what it looks like working with us. Put that in the question box so we can get it answered live for you. And I'm going to pass it to you, Kevin.
Okay. Thanks so much, Adrienne. I appreciate it. Like Adrienne said, I think this is a really important topic. This is something that's kind of a passionate subject for me because, Medicare supplement's been a big part of my personal world for a long time. And then the transition that's been slowly happening the last few years and then more rapidly happening the last few months kind of sets us up perfectly to talk about the subject that we're talking about today. So it's good to be with you. Good morning. And, thank you, Adrienne, for setting it up. And I just wanted to say one more thing to kind of back up Adrienne about their upcoming conference in Hot Springs. I attended last year. It was amazing. Yeah. Highly encourage you all to be there. I plan to be there again this year. So it's a great event. So please don't miss out. With that being said, let me jump right into the topic here. So what we're going to be talking about today is Aetna's Plan N, specifically Medicare supplement. Why is Plan N so important? Well, because of all the changes happening in Medicare right now, you see some things shifting, and I believe that, Plan N, like I said a minute ago, is already kind of started to take a bigger hold in the market, and I think you're going to see that kind of happen even quicker in the coming weeks and months ahead. So what I feel that we're doing here today is just helping you prepare and helping you be more aware of how Plan N works. So we'll get into more of that here in just a minute. I want to give you just a real quick background on our division of Aetna. So we're known as Aetna Senior Supplemental Insurance. We're just, one division of Aetna. Aetna is obviously a very large company and part of the larger company of CVS Health. But our division of Aetna, known as Aetna Senior Supplemental, is kind of the Medicare supplement division of Aetna. And then we have some other products that we offer as well. We'll kind of mention those here in a little bit. One thing that I think is important for any broker, any agent out there who's helping seniors get the right Medicare coverage for themselves is to know that when you're working with the Aetna Senior Supplemental Company, you're working with one of the best. We're very highly rated from a brand standpoint. The Aetna name has been around for more than 170 years. Our division of the company has been around for more than 40 years, and we are an A-rated company by AM Best. So you know that when you're representing us and you're showing a product to your client, it's a company that's well respected and well reviewed throughout the industry. We do also file our products under multiple entities, which you'll see a list of those here. I won't read through all of them, but basically you've got Aetna Health and Life Insurance, Aetna Health Insurance, American Continental, Continental Life, and then we also have Ascendo, which we will file products under. There's long titles along with all those, so I'll save you from reading all of them. But just know that depending on what state you're marketing in, our Med Supp could be filed under any of these, but they all come back to Aetna Senior. It's all handled out of our business, our office in the Nashville, Tennessee area. We just sometimes have products that are filed under different names. They're always going to still have Aetna on them, so you'll know that it's a part of the Aetna Senior Supplemental business. So when you talk about Med Supp, and I don't know what everyone's knowledge level is on the call. We may have brand new, we may have veterans to the Medicare market space. You may have a lot of experience at Medicare Supplement, and you may not. So we'll kind of take this as a generic approach, but whenever you're going to meet with a client and you're trying to help them and determine what is their needs, you need to kind of ask them, what are their expectations? What is their appetite for out-of-pocket costs? Those are all the types of things that are going to need to be taken into consideration when you're trying to help them get fit with the right product, whether it be a Medicare supplement, whether it be a Medicare Advantage plan, and what type of Med Advantage or Med Supp plan do we need to do. So you start with that needs analysis. Everyone kind of has their own approach to, determining the information they need. So I won't try to educate you on the best approach to needs analysis, but I will say that it just usually involves a conversation between you and the client in determining, what is their budget, what is their potential, appetite for out-of-pocket costs if and when they get hit with a hospital bill of some kind. And then that's going to help you determine, what plan is probably going to work best for them so you can make some recommendations. So when it comes to Medicare Supplement, which obviously is what we're focusing on today, the main thing you want to know is, does your client have coverage for unexpected medical expenses? The way Medicare works, if you have a Medicare Supplement, Medicare is going to pay generally 80% of everything that they have when it comes to their medical costs. And then the additional 20% is where you got to figure out how is that going to get covered. So that's where a Medicare Supplement picks up. Generally speaking, it's going to kick in and it's going to pick up that additional 20%. So why would you want to market Aetna's Medicare Supplement? Well, we've got a broad choice of plans. We're going to focus on Plan N today, but we also have Plan G. We have Plan F for those who still qualify. We have some high deductible options. Another reason you might want to look at a Medicare Supplement is you usually aren't going to be tied down to a network of doctors, which is something to me is kind of near and dear. It's personal. When you get stuck into only going to a certain doctor network, you may not be able to get care that fits you exactly the way you feel most comfortable. So with a Medicare Supplement, you're typically going to be able to go to any doctor, any hospital that accepts Medicare patients, which is going to be just about all of them. The plans are going to be portable, which means that once you buy a plan, if you happen to move at some point in the future, maybe out of state even, you're not going to be required to change to another plan, at least not with Aetna. And I think most other Med Supp carriers are going to be the same way. Whereas, Medicare Advantage, great product, great program, but if you move, generally you're going to have to change to another plan, and that, involves making new decisions. Whereas once you have your Medicare supplement, as long as you maintain it, it's going to stick with you. Plans are available that cover immediate onset emergency care, including outside of the United States. So there's going to be a coverage in there for foreign travel, which is a big thing, obviously. So getting into the nitty gritty, just, kind of wanted to set you up with some generic information to get you thinking along the lines of Medicare supplement. I'm going to assume that most of you kind of already, and again, as Adrian mentioned, you have the questions feature and the chat feature. So give us feedback, give us your question, and we can get into that. If there's things that leave you, confused or not understanding what we're talking about, that's a great place to go so we can clarify. But I'm going to assume that most everyone on the call today understands or is at least aware of Plan G has been kind of the most dominant Medicare supplement for the last probably decade at this point. I'll say more than several years. It's been, 10, 12 years. Plan G has been the big kind of go-to option. Well, as the market has shifted and we've all been impacted by higher cost and everything that we buy, inflation has been a key. That the same thing has affected the Medicare market as well. So it's getting costlier for Medicare and for the Medicare supplement for providers to cover the medical cost. So in order to offset those costs, one of the big things, and this kind of started happening before the more recent, the more, last couple of few years inflation, even before that, the medical costs were inflating. And so what is that doing? That's kind of siphoning Medicare to some degree, and it's also siphoning the reserves of the Medicare supplement providers because they're paying higher out-of-pocket or covering more cost for you, for the consumer. So Plan N, the whole kind of genesis behind it, is it offers very similar coverage to a Plan G, but there's just a little bit more upfront skin in the game for the policyholder. So it's kind of like one of those deals, in the past, if you had a Plan F or a Plan G and your knee was hurting, well, it's only going to cost me $100 or $200 or so bucks or nothing if you have a Plan F to go get this fixed, and Medicare is going to pay for it and my Medicare supplement's going to cover the rest. Well, like I said, the problem with that is people were so quick to go and get coverage, whether it was essential or not, that it was just really kind of ruining the reserves for the Medicare, Medicare and the Medicare supplement providers. So Plan N is designed to work similar to Plan G in that there's a little bit more upfront out-of-pocket cost for the policyholder that kind of helps them think twice. Well, is this issue I'm having really serious? Am I ready to pay that out-of-pocket cost? It's not a deterrent so much as something to help kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word, but kind of a decision maker, to kind of help you decide, how serious is this condition? Is it something I need to seek immediate attention for? Is it emergency? Is it crucial that I get, attention sooner rather than later? Or is it something I need to maybe take a slower approach? So that's kind of what the whole idea is behind the out-of-pocket cost. So hopefully that sets you up and gives you a general idea of what we're heading into with Plan N. Adrian, am I on the right track so far? Are you feeling good about it?
I am feeling great about it. And I would love to hear from all the brokers on here. Have you ever sold a Plan N? Just put it in the question box. I mean, it's private. No one sees it. If you just want to share if you've ever sold a Plan N or not, just so we kind of know who we're talking to.
Yeah, let us hear from you. If you've sold a Plan N, let us know. We'd love to know who's out there marketing Plan Ns actively now. Okay, so this chart for me is kind of like a key thing that helps me think about, well, what am I looking at when I'm looking at a Plan N? So if you look at this chart, the first thing I would say is let's not think about Plan A or Plan B. That's kind of a different world and not the one that we're exploring today. Let's focus more on the column that's Plan F, Plan G, and Plan N. So if you look at Plan F, you notice that every box is checked there. You've got a dot there saying, hey, this is covered by this Plan F. This is covered. And the things we're talking about are basic benefits, Part B coinsurance, Part A deductible, skilled nursing, foreign travel emergency, Part B excess charges, and then Part B deductible. So Plan F, it's the Cadillac, right? Everything's covered. It's got all the bells and whistles. You pay the premium, and you just kind of don't worry about anything else because you're covered. Now, as we've evolved, it's become more and more apparent that having coverage like that is great, but it also drives claims up faster because there's not that kind of second guessing that, kind of, hey, is this coverage essential? Do I need to do this right now? Or maybe do I need to take a slower, path to try to treat this injury or this illness that I'm dealing with? So Plan F is great, but it drives up claims at a rapid pace. And that's why Plan F has kind of been restricted the last few years. So starting in 2020, if you didn't age in to Medicare before 2020, you can't really get a Plan F anymore. Now, the only people that can still purchase a Plan F is if they became eligible for Medicare prior to the end of 2019. So, and you do still have people that are, starting their Medicare now, or they're making Medicare decisions now who became eligible prior to that time. And that's great. Plan F is still an option. But anyone else, you've got to look at the other plans that are out there, like Plan G, like Plan N. So with Plan F aside, let's look at Plan G. Plan G, you notice it's got just about everything checked the same as Plan F did, with one notable exception down at the bottom. On the Plan G column, you'll notice that the Part B deductible is not covered. And so many of you who've been marketing Medicare supplements for years, you're probably very familiar with that. Basically, there's an out-of-pocket deductible associated with Part B that has to be covered by the policyholder every year before benefits kick in. It's usually, hasn't been traditionally a very high cost. I think it's evolved from 100 to 150, 160 to 200. I think we're at $240 now. So $240 currently. Once you pay that with your Plan G for your out-of-pocket cost, then you're covered. The rest of your benefits for that year, or the rest of your services, your care, your Medicare claims will be covered at 100%, which is great. Medicare is the best coverage in the world. I recently just, I have still, traditional coverage, non-Medicare, like through my employer, through Aetna, and it's great coverage also, but I have a lot more out-of-pocket costs. In fact, I just had knee surgery less than a week ago, and it was, $4,000. Now, after that, everything was covered, but I had to get that $4,000 paid first. So I know personally, I would love to be on Medicare to only have to pay $240 and then everything be covered. But hey, that's a different situation, right? That's why we all earn into our Medicare benefits. So Plan G, great. Pay your deductible and you're covered. But again, we're looking at more ways to preserve Medicare, to save it, to make it last longer, and also to preserve the Medicare supplement providers because they're, dealing with the financial burden of this also. So along comes Plan N. It's becoming a bigger and bigger player. And then let's not forget that what am I doing as a Medicare supplement provider as I'm paying higher out-of-pocket costs to cover my policyholders, their needs. What am I doing? Well, I'm offsetting that with rate increases. And nobody likes that. As a broker, the last thing you want to see is your client getting rate increases. And unfortunately, as if any of you have been kind of monitoring the Medicare supplement business the last few years, rate increases are getting to be, higher and higher. And that's all just about preservation. It's trying to save the business. It's trying to make sure that, these higher costs that we're paying and that Medicare is paying, that we're covering those costs. So that's why you're seeing those higher rate increases. So what else can we do? How else can we preserve Medicare and preserve rates to be more stable? Well, that's where Plan N comes in. And Plan N's it's going to be similar to Plan F, Plan G, both, but just a little bit more skin in the game. And this is where people, in my experience, start getting confused and frustrated because they don't understand what their potential out-of-pocket costs are with a Plan N. So if we accomplish nothing else during this call today, that's what I want you to walk away from knowing and understanding is that, yes, there is the potential for more out-of-pocket costs, but it's not as devastating as you would expect. there is limitations. There's caps on how much you can be billed, and that's what we're about to get into. I know you wanted to save questions till the end, but is there anything so far, Adrian, or anything you have questions on?
I don't see any specific questions coming through, but it is about, I would say majority of people on have sold a plan in before. Vicky, Carol said yes. Dolores said yes. John said he hasn't. He's only done Advantage. So I'm sure he's learning all kinds of stuff this morning. And we have a question about Part B excess charges, but I'm sure you are about to get into that.
Oh yeah. We're definitely going to talk about excess charges. So, and that question about excess charges plays into what we're getting ready to talk about. So, that's sort of the fear of the unknown is what makes people be uncertain about Plan N, and I totally understand that. But here's the thing, and not to recap everything I've already said, but Plan F and Plan G are becoming non-viable plans in the current marketplace because of rising costs of medical services. So in order to sustain Medicare, in order to sustain Medicare supplements, we've got to put in measures to help offset that. Plan N is a great example of that. So it's not something that you or your client needs to go into blindly, though. I'm going to help you understand how these out-of-pocket costs work. So if you look at the chart, you see Plan N, and you see it's got a lot of the same boxes checked. Basic benefits are covered. Part B coinsurance is covered, but there is some asterisks there, if you'll note. We'll come back to those in just a second. Part A deductible is still covered. Skilled nursing is covered. Foreign travel emergency covered. Part B excess charges, you can see there is no coverage. And that's a big concern for a lot of people, and I understand that. We're going to get into it, though. And then you still have the same consideration with Plan N that you do on Plan G, which is the Part B deductible. Right now, it's at $240 annually. Once that's covered, the benefits kick in. So that's really no different. All right. So let's go back to Part B coinsurance. You notice that there is coverage there, but there's some asterisks. Well, the asterisks are actually talked about down at the bottom of this page. So the first asterisk is going to talk about Plan N requires up to a $20 copayment for office visits. So if you are on a Plan N and you go to a regular doctor visit, it could be a primary care or it could be a specialist, any type of, doctor visit, then you may be exposed to a copay. But the copay is going to be no more than $20. And this is the point where a lot of agents typically roll their eyes or they'll say, it's going to be $20. I know. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not always $20. I have looked at the reports that we run that shows what our copays are, and I can speak to you very confidently and say, a lot of times the copay is still nothing. Very often they pay nothing. I've seen copays as little as 1 cent, believe it or not. So if you got a penny in your pocket, you're covered on that copay. Now, I have seen them $10. I've seen them $7. I've seen them $8. I've seen them $15. I've seen them $20. But believe it or not, it's not always guaranteed that it's going to be a $20 copay. It depends on the doctor, how they do their math, how they do their calculations, and what they determine is necessary for their cost beyond what Medicare's covering. The most they can charge is $20 though. So a lot of people, oh man, I don't want to have to pay a copay, and I hear you. But again, remember, Plan N is all about preserving the benefits and the services that we have. So if it means we have to pay a copay, I believe personally that's a small price to pay. And that's the thing.
And I'll add to that, and they're probably most likely already used to paying that copay. So it's not going to be a drastic change from, their group coverage where they're probably already having that copay.
Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. Next thing I was going to say, most people going on Medicare have been paying copays. We're usually going to be used to that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, copays are a very common thing before you get on Medicare. And if you're telling me when you've got to go on Medicare and get a Plan in and I've got to pay a copay, but it's never going to be more than $20, that's nothing. I mean, like I said, over the last 6 weeks, I realized that I needed serious knee surgery, and I got great coverage. But I mean, in co-pays, I was paying $300 for this, $400 for this, until I got to the $400 out-of-pocket maximum. This doesn't work that way. It's just a traditional copay, and it's never going to be more than $20 for a doctor visit. Oftentimes, it's going to be less than $20. Oftentimes, it's actually going to be $0. So hopefully that helps everyone understand the copay a little bit better. Now, that's the doctor's office copay. There's also the potential for another copay. So this is for an ER visit. So if you're on a plan A and you go to the ER, you are supposed to pay a $50 copay. Again, $50 for the ER, not bad at all. I had an ER visit a while back. It was $1,400. Again, I'm not comparing me to Medicare, different story, but just kind of trying to put some levity to this. So basically, when you go to the ER with a plan in, they're supposed to charge you a $50 copay. However, if your emergency room visit was serious enough that you needed to be admitted to the hospital, which, hopefully that's the only time we're going to the ER is when it's so bad that, potentially you're looking at maybe spending time in the hospital. Now, hopefully we never have to spend time in the hospital, but, that's kind of the point. Like, oh, well, if I go, I got to pay $50, but that's going to help you determine, well, I'm sick. I really need to go. And so if you are admitted to the hospital as a part of your ER visit, then the copay is waived. So the $50 is a non-issue if you go to the ER and you end up being admitted to the hospital. Any questions at all so far on copays? Are we feeling good so far, everyone?
Doing good.
All right, good. So that's copays, and we can, circle back if you have questions later on. I'm going to try to get moving forward because, as usual, I get to talking and I can't shut up. So let's move on to the other big concern about plan in, and that's going to be the Part B excess charges. That's where people really start to get worried, and I totally understand it again. But let me try to dispel some of the fears, okay? So there is a thing called Part B excess charges. Most of the time, if you're dealing with someone who's been on a Medicare supplement for a long time, whether it be a Plan F or a Plan G, they never even know or hear about Part B excess charges because the plan is covering it. So, it doesn't come up a lot if you're not on something that covers it. Plan N doesn't cover Part B excess charges. So that's where oftentimes an agent or a policyholder feels very concerned because their potential out-of-pocket risk can be, it can be a lot potentially, but I'm going to talk to you about it and help you understand it better. So let me tell you what a Part B excess charge is first. So there's basically there's a Part B list of anything and everything that can be billed to Medicare. And that list states that this is supposed to be billed to Medicare at this amount. So think of any procedure, any, office visit, anything that can be billed to Medicare individually. There's a list out there, and it basically says this is the amount that should be billed to Medicare for this type of service or, procedure, whatever. Now, most doctors bill according to that list. As long as they bill according to that list, it's a non-issue. There's not going to be excess charges. As long as you're going to doctors or hospitals that bill according to that list that Part B excess charges are associated with, then it's never going to come up. Now, there is a slight risk that you could end up going to a doctor who doesn't bill on, and it's called bill on assignment or assignment. I'm kind of, maybe this page has got it on here. It's assignment, Medicare assignment. There we go. I don't know why I was drawing a blank there for a second. So that list that I'm referring to is called Medicare assignment. If you go to a doctor or hospital that bills quote unquote on Medicare assignment, then excess charges will never be an issue. If you go to a doctor or a hospital that does not bill on assignment, then you may be looking at excess charges, but there is caps on that still. How would I know if my doctor or hospital bills on assignment for Medicare? Well, you can look it up in a few different places. One, our trusty old friend Medicare.gov actually has a list where you can look up and see which providers bill on assignment. If they bill on assignment, then you're usually in safe hands and you don't have to worry about it. If they don't, then you need to be considering what are the potential for my excess charges with my plan in. So a couple of fun facts on this page. Um, a copay of, sorry, we already talked about that. Part B excess charges, I'm talking about the fourth bullet point there, right in the middle of the page. Part B excess charges that are not covered. These charges rarely occur and can be easily avoided if the policyholder goes to a provider that takes Medicare assignment. That's what I was just talking about. So here's kind of the fun facts. Almost no Part B excess charges if the provider accepts Medicare assignment again. And I think we put almost in there just to kind of cover ourselves. But again, if they bill on assignment, and you can always ask the doctor's office, hey, I need to know, do you bill on assignment for Medicare? If they say yes, then they know that, okay, your excess charges are not going to be an issue. But here's the two. These last two check mark bullet points here are really kind of what send it home for me. 97% of all providers who provide Medicare covered services accept Medicare assignment. So of every doctor and hospital out there, 97% of them bill on assignment. So you're only exposed to about 3% if you go out there that may be potentially having excess charges. And then here's the other one that I think is a lot of fun. 99% of all Medicare covered services are paid on assignment. So basically what that means is that as of today or recently, all claims that are being billed through Medicare or being sent through Medicare, only 1% or less ever involves excess charges. It's a very small amount. So I want to take it one step further and say, I personally have had multiple conversations with our own internal claims department. And one of the things that we've discussed is, how often are we paying excess charges for policyholders who have a Plan F or a Plan G currently? And the claims people that I speak with, they say like almost never. Like that's not even a thing. Like it never comes up. Very, very, very rarely. So beyond that, I actually recently was helping a group of agents who were really concerned about excess charges. And so I actually got our claims team to pull some data for them. And I can't show you all that data right now, mainly because I just don't have it in a format that's easy to show. But I wanted to show you or tell you some notes that I wrote from that claims data when I looked through it. So this was about 3-4 weeks ago. Our claims department actually provided me a list of all the claims we've paid so far this year for Medicare supplement. And there's more than 12,000 entries on there. Of those that involved excess charges, only about 15 were over $100. So you're talking over 12,000 claims, only about 15 of them involved excess charges that totaled more than $100. I'll repeat that again just to kind of help it set in. Of over 12,000 claims that Aetna has paid this year, only about 15 of them involved some sort of excess charge that was in excess of $100. So to get a little bit deeper, there was none of those 15 that were over $100. There were none that were more than $500.
Wow.
So you see the excess charges are not quite as alarming as you may think. I mean, we're talking a lot of claims there. So one other note, and then we can kind of move on. And this is kind of where I try to put the nice little bow on Plan N to help you all understand it. So Kevin, I'm assuming some of you may be thinking or wanting to ask this question if you haven't already. So what is the cap on excess charges? What if I do happen to go to a doctor who does not bill on Medicare assignment? What is my potential exposure? What is my potential risk? So the potential risk, the most that they can bill you, if you happen to go to somewhere that has excess charges, is only going to be a max of 15% of whatever the Medicare assignment amount is. So for simple math, terms, let's say that you're going to a doctor and the procedure or the type of treatment that you need is according to Medicare assignment. Let's say it's $1,000 treatment. Well, if you go to a doctor that doesn't bill on assignment, the most additional they can bill in excess charges would be $150. And again, think of everything I've given you about copays and about excess charges. Do you think every single doctor who can bill $150 for that is doing it? So far, pretty current as of this year, we've only paid 15 excess charges over $100. None of them have exceeded $500. The most they can bill you, if you go to one of those 3% of providers who potentially can bill you excess charges, is 15% of whatever the Medicare assignment cost is. Adrian, does this make sense? Helpful?
Yes, absolutely. I'm really, really hoping that these numbers and the proof in this and the facts is inspiring everyone to see that plan in is really easy to explain to a potential client.
Good deal. Good deal. I'll go back and kind of just, as we move forward, I want to just make a couple of quick points in that. What's the trade-off for all this for your client? Why would I want to pay plan in? Well, keep in mind, their premiums are dramatically lower than Plan G or Plan F. You're talking 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30% less. And because of the out-of-pocket potential, because of the skin in the game for the plan in policyholders, they're more hesitant to use their product. That means that we're going to have lesser rate increases. So it's going to be not only a cheaper, more cost-effective plan, it's also going to be a more stable plan going forward.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I'm going to move forward a little bit and just kind of wrap this up so we can get to questions. Why should you choose Aetna? Well, we offer the best in class technology. We have an app called Quotes on the Go that you can quote all of our products, which I didn't really get into it, but Med Supp is just one of several products we have. We also have a cancer product. We've got short-term care products, dental, vision, hearing, hospital indemnity, you name it. We also have a very, very intuitive and very user-friendly Aetna Quote and Enroll electronic application tool. It's on our website. Our website, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it, is AetnaSeniorProducts.com. Anything and everything I've talked about today, you can get additional information on AetnaSeniorProducts.com. And you can also get access to our online e-app, which is amazing. People love it. We get great feedback from the field on that. We offer great compensation. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. You like it?
No, I hear a lot of great feedback from agents about the technology too and how easy it is to write more than one product at one time.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for saying that, because that's one of the things that we tried to keep in mind as we designed that online e-app is the ability to, hey, let me stack some product for you. Let me get you covered from top to bottom. Here's your Medicare supplement, but here's your dental, vision, hearing. You can do it all at once. So very, very, intuitive and helpful as far as that goes. We've also got competitive commissions, and we do lots of different incentives as far as bonus money that can be rewarded based on the business you write. We pay agent appointment fees. Check out our rates. Go out there and see where we're at on Plan In. It's pretty competitive. We've got amazing, easy to use online tools. Here's just kind of a snapshot of our website. You can track your business from here and do all kinds of great stuff. It's a very good website. I use it every day just to kind of help agents to get the information they need. And then once I show them where it is, usually I never hear from them again because they know how to get it. We're here to help you. So our team's here, depending on where you're based as an agent, where your resident state is. You may be in our West region, which is Tony Clark's team. You may be in our South region, which is my team. We don't like that picture of me in the middle, so don't look at it. You could be in the East region, which is Jeff's team. Just give us a call. You see Suzanne, who's on the call with us today. She works at the home office, and she's there to help and support you. You may be saying, Kevin, those are great pictures. You're all lovely people. However, how do I get a hold of you? Well, I'm getting to it. So here's our phone numbers. Please write them down, take a picture. You can also email us. I know for the South region, my phone number you see listed there, as well as Justine's. Those are our cell phone numbers. You can text us or call us there. Suzanne, you can email her or call her at the number listed there. And then I believe the same goes for the West and the East region folks. And if all else fails, if you can't reach us quickly enough, although we're generally pretty responsive, all of the sales team. We've got a great agent services team that's very knowledgeable and helpful, and you can reach them, excuse me, at 866-272-6630, 866-272-6630. Just some additional information here. I'll leave this up here for a minute so everyone can look through it. Just kind of some helpful information for agents if you need to reach us for some reason.
Yeah,
And
no,
then go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you. And I was going to,
Oh, yeah.
I know that GoTo has a delay sometimes on the questions being submitted. So if you do have any questions for Kevin or myself or Suzanne, please go ahead and put them in the question box, because we definitely want you to leave this training confident in selling these plans.
Yeah, and we're here. I'm ready for questions, and Suzanne's here too, and she knows the answers better than I do typically.
Okay. I don't see any questions coming through, but I'm going to give it a second. John said, definitely great explanation. So thank you for that feedback. There is a survey at the end of this training. If you would please fill it out, let us know what you learned from today, what we can do better. We appreciate that. We do these trainings all based on your feedback, so we appreciate that. Dolores said, thank you very much. She said this has been helpful. And then she also said earlier that that yes, of all the sales I have made over the last 10 years, she has sold 4 plan ins to cattlemen who are quite able to meet the higher deductible, and they liked having the lower premium. She said none have left their plan to seek another answer, which is what you want as an agent.
Awesome.
And I was going to ask, I mean, I always have my own questions as I wait for these as I wait for the agents to ask their questions. I know that like the Aetna Medicare Advantage has marketing materials, but does the senior supplemental side have marketing materials for agents?
Like to be able to, like brochures and stuff to be able to show the client?
Yeah, or even social media posts, brochures, flyers, anything like that.
I'm going to answer that shortly by saying yes, and then I'll let Suzanne expand.
Okay.
Yes, once you are registered on the agent portal, you can order supplies and under one of the tabs there. So, and these are free to the agent, and it's always good to have some paper applications on hand when you're out in the country and there's no Wi-Fi. Then you can still do an application with them. But once you get it back into the office, you'll want to have your delegate staff person or you enter the application still through the electronic application process, because it's going to be so much faster than if you faxed or mailed an application in.
Right, and then that way you know it's submitted correctly.
Yes.
Scott had asked if he can change a G to an N without underwriting.
Great question. Unfortunately, we do require underwriting on all that. It's just another way for us to kind of protect ourselves as a carrier, to allow us to, keep rates competitive. So if we can just peak at the underwriting, then, it's better off for us. However, if you run into an issue that you feel like someone should be passing underwriting and you can't get them through, like, let me know. I've got some pull with the underwriters. Usually I can call it a favor if it's borderline.
Awesome. No, great question, Scott. Thank you. And it was very nice of you to share your cell phone number on the previous slide. So hopefully you all got that if you do have underwriting help.
Sure.
And then of course, Eldercare is always here to help as well. If you're interested in help with getting marketing materials, I'm here to help you with that. If you want to know the rates in your areas that you're selling in, or commission levels, or the per app bonus that they're offering, please just let us know. We are happy to send you the specifics for your selling areas, because it does vary for your area. And Mike was asking about getting certified and stuff. And so this that's the great thing about a Medicare supplement, Mike, is you don't have to do the certifications to sell these products. That's only for the Medicare Advantage side.
Yep.
And then,
No certification required for any of our products. We just need you to get contracted, which it is a separate contract than your Aetna Medicare Advantage. So make sure you get with the Eldercare team to get you set up with that contract if you don't have it already.
thank you. And Vicki said if they wait for an AEP, can they change then? I guess I would need a little bit more background on that question, because if they're on a Med Supp, you don't have to wait for AEP. They can switch to another Med Supp at any time as long as they can pass that underwriting.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about Medicare supplements is, you're open to write year round. The only thing is with Medicare supplement, depending on when they're, getting their Medicare supplement, their eligibility could be different. So you can get one at any time, but in a lot of cases, that's going to still require underwriting. There's usually not going to be just a free underwriting period, other than when they initially age in, or if they've got some sort of guarantee issue for some reason, which is a little bit uncommon. But other than that, I mean, you're free to write. If you've got a client out there today that's got a Med Supp and it's too expensive and they want to save some money, go up there and quote them and check their health, and maybe you can underwrite them today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she said in reference to changing a G to an N without underwriting. So you'll always, I mean, unless they qualify for a guaranteed issue, they're most likely going to have to go through underwriting to switch Medicare supplement plans. And I mean, I think a lot of times brokers, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's an easier way to see this. I mean, I know there's an underwriting guide, but I know a lot of times looking at a paper application kind of helps prepare the agent to see the underwriting questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know as an agent, sometimes it can be a little bit scary to go out and do something that requires underwriting, because the last thing you want is to have your client be rejected, and then that's a tough spot for you and for them. But the bottom line, and Adrian just said it, is look at that application. You can either do it through the paper application, or you can go online and look through the application questions. If you feel confident enough that you've done field underwriting and that your client can give honest no answers to all those health questions, that's a great indicator that they should be able to pass underwriting. There is also another thing that we could help, kind of get an idea of what's going on with first. On our website, which again is AetnaSeniorProducts.com, we have a drug list that you can check at any time. It's going to be by product, so some products might be, their list is a little different than some of the other products we have, but check that and make sure they're not taking a medication that is restricted or that we don't allow. Those are the two things you got to do. Check the questions, make sure they can confidently answer no to everything, and two, check the drugs. If you're clear on all those, you're generally speaking going to be good to go through underwriting. And yeah, one more thing about our underwriting too, I should mention, is that we have automated underwriting. We can usually get you an answer in about probably 95% of your cases within a minute or two from you submitting it. You're going to have an answer like almost immediately, unless additional underwriting is required, but that's not that often that happens.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And you can always, see if they qualify for the underwriting before you would cancel their previous plan. So you don't have to cancel their plan G to enroll them in a plan N. And you can wait to know that that plan N has been accepted and in effect before you cancel their other one. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, absolutely. Well said.
Okay. And that's what you should do as an agent, just some advice there.
Yeah.
I know Jennifer has said that many times to do it that way. And we had questions from Mike too about setting up kiosk in stores and things like that. And so we'll follow up with you after that, Mike. After this, Mike, I know that we're a little over for time, but was there anything else you wanted to add, Kevin or Suzanne?
I'm good. Suze, you got anything?
No, I'm good too. Thank you so much for allowing us to present today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
for taking the time to talk to our brokers. I know that quite a few of you are still on right now. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend these trainings. We look forward to working with you and seeing all the plan in Aetna success you can have.
Yes.
Good luck, everyone.
Yes. Happy selling.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a
Thanks
good day.
again.